What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys have seen the last video, you guys know we got a new project that is temporarily here on the channel, but when the car goes, it's going to be complete and it's going to be a fun car. Now, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Once that car was kind of sort of done, dyno tuned, and I was driving it around, I was taking numerous of days off in between, and you know, sometimes it is nice to kind of take time off from recording and, you know, getting stupid busy. And it started becoming a habit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I started taking 5, 6, 7 days off at a time, and I was getting into that state of being lazy. So the good thing about this car is, one, I am saving it. Two, the parts from this car is going to help my buddy out. You guys should have seen that we made a deal on this car. My buddy got the parts he needed and I got the shell. Three, it's going to keep me super busy however long it takes me to get this car to where I want it before I get rid of it. And four, it helps me get rid of a lot of the stuff that I've just kind of been hoarding for a little while. Now, if you guys remember the CRX, we did a overhaul on one of my buddy Chad's car. We had done a ceiling cam in there, and now he just had gone B20. Actually, he's swapping it right now with my buddy Sean. They're putting a B20 in his car. He came by here yesterday to pick up some things, the transmission, some swap parts to button it up today. This morning, while I was still sleeping, they came over and they dropped off the ceiling cam right here that came out of his car, which was actually our motor that came out of my brother's blue wagon. So this engine is going to be going in there. This engine is a DX 1.5 liter, but we had it rebuilt from Knockhead Synergy a little while ago. This engine has roughly 15,000 miles, and it already has the A6 intake manifold and everything we need to get this to be, you know, fitted for this car with the multi-point injection. Off to the side over here, when we were doing the swap in the CRX, we swapped the SI trans for a ZC LSD. So I have the transmission here from that car as well, and I'm going to be taking this, mating it with that, and we'll kind of get a little bit into the details of what we're going to be doing with this car in just a minute. But transmission is for this engine. I'm going to have to source some other things. They are going to drop by a little bit later, drop off the axles and all the ceiling cam components that I'm going to need to put this back into that car. I remember that I had a bunch of stuff in there for ceiling cam and possibly some things in there, but obviously a whole bunch of stuff around the garage that we can use to put this in there and make it faster. Just know the car is going to go turbo. You guys know I have so many things that I could just make this a quick one, and when everything's all said and done, we're going to get it on the dyno. We're going to get this car kind of dialed. We're going to clean it up, the body, the inside, the outside. I might paint a few things because the brown on here is two different color, right? And this fender is also painted as well too. So I'm going to start off with the engine bay. Not too much going on in here. I did notice that we still have the power steering, and the rack and everything is still all attached. Just gotta bolt that down right there. Probably gonna need to be bled out, but I think what I'm gonna do is I don't want to eliminate all this. I was gonna wire tuck the engine bay, but I'm like, you know what? I want to keep it simple. I don't want to have to pull the fenders off and do all the tucking and all that stuff, and just keep it all original under the hood. And I want to keep the power steering. I don't want to delete this because we're staying single cam. I figured, why not? It's all here already. The reservoir, hoses, everything, the lines, it's all still connected, all still here. The only thing is, this does not have a power steering bracket on the front of the engine, but there is an RT four-wheel drive in the junkyard that has already been stripped of its goodies, but the engine is still there, and that car has a power steering brackets on it. So probably sometime this week I'm gonna head out there and see if I can get those bracket. I don't want to wire tuck, like I said, this side or that side, but I am going to remove the AC harness, which is this guy right here, and this bundle of wire in this corner. You can see all of this stuff right here is not going to be used because we don't have AC here anyways. I'm going to remove the dryer and all of its lines that doesn't go anywhere, and just kind of clean the bay up a little bit. I am going to keep all the emission stuff kind of sort of still in here, and I washed the car last night before I closed up. Got a lot of the grimes out of there, a lot of the grimes out of there, here and here. You notice that the radiator support has been swapped out because it is white, the car is brown. Not sure what happened here. this has been cut out for something, probably a radiator, because it's perfectly squared, and there's nothing I can do about this. I'm gonna leave that as is. It's still pretty strong, and the hood still latches normally, so I'm gonna let that be. But like I said, I'm gonna start yanking all these unnecessary things out of the engine bay. Yo, shout out to Eric, man. Thank you for this macro little flathead magnetic pick, because I lost like 5 of these already, and they just keep falling out of my pocket because they stick to anything that's metal. Now the other end of this AC harness is a plug that's under the AC unit down there behind the carpet. So you just unplug it and you can yank it through. In this case, I'm gonna yank it through. This thing right here is the fuses for the automatic seatbelt for the 1991 Civics, and this is sedan and wagon specifically. This is for the fuse that sits on the positive battery terminal. The ring that's supposed to sit right here is broken off, and the seatbelt is stuck in the forward position inside the car. Most of the time people like lock the seatbelt into the, you know, shoulder position, and then they disconnect all of this, and then you just pretty much unclip from the pillar every time you get in and out of the car. My car right here is a 91, the wagon, but I converted to pillar mounted seatbelts so I don't have to deal with this. But I think what I'm going to do at the end of the day with this car is the battery is going to stay here in the bay, and I'm going to find a way to get this to be connected back to the terminal if I can't find a replacement fuse holder right here like this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and just solder these 2 wires back together. There's a white green and a white red, and all I got to do is just connect the red back together, relume it up, and just get that tucked away until we get to the battery portion of this. So I was looking at the power steering system, right? I thought it was near complete, and then I go up to the front, and the what is it, cooler lines is not here. The hard line that goes from this hose, and it sits right here somewhere, and then it goes around and goes back up. This is gone. So hopefully when I go to the junkyard to find that power steering bracket, I hope I remember to grab the power steering cooler that sits right here so we can hook up power steering. This car came with innovative driver, innovative rear, but no transmission mount, because the RT four-wheel drive is different, so you couldn't even use a front-wheel drive transmission mount on here because the tab sits taller. But I do have an eBay motor mount that has a solid bushing like that, so if it comes to it and I have to make a custom motor mount, I'll use that to make a new trans mount so that all corners has a solid bushing. When I threw away all of that stuff that was sitting on the side of the house, I threw away a set of RT four-wheel drive mounts. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna check the backyard real quick, because that mount might still be on the transmission itself. Four-wheel drive, and there's a mount on here. Interesting, but I don't think this is gonna fit because we're putting a front-wheel drive transmission in the car, and this guy is different. So I was looking down here. I just so happen to have a brown fender for the driver's side. Same freaking color. This is why I hoard stuff. When things fall into place like this, it saves me time on trying to prep that fender and painting that. So I got this from, I think I got this from Moss Landing like over a year ago. Every time I see a wagon in the junkyard and it has fenders, hood, stuff that are hard to come around for wagons, I try to snag it. If it has a little dent like this right here, I still buy it, do a little body work, put it in primer, and just kind of put it away. If you guys look back here, I mean, if you guys been here long enough, you guys have probably seen this stack of fenders that's sitting up here. Look, there's another brown one right there. I have the stack of fenders been up here for a while because I collect these from the junkyard. These are all wagon specific. In the backyard I have like 3 or 4 wagon hood as well. And like I said, for days like this, it's nice to have these spare parts. So I think what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna install this fender on here, and I'm probably gonna sand this overspray of the dark brown on the door right here. Right here, I think it is on the other side too. I remembered that one was actually painted, but somebody seemed to have sourced the other brown fender to match the color here. So I'm probably gonna sand that side and sand all of this out. I did broke my mini buffer, so I'm probably gonna try to find a way to polish this paint a little bit here. And then, you know, when everything's all said and done with the car, we'll probably like give the car a quick like detail job. But right now I'm just gonna go ahead and match the other side. And when I do plan on painting parts on this car, I'm probably gonna do the hood, the front bumper, which I am gonna replace because we don't have the bottom half of this guy, and the back bumper is the original brown, but somebody painted it black. So I'm probably gonna sand that off another day and try to get this brown to come back. For some reason, the color brown on the fender, it looks lighter than the car. So I started sanding that section right there to kind of get the color to be closer, to see how close the color match is. This is the fender that was on the wall, and I just pulled this one from the back here that I did just throw on here. I pulled the back off because I thought it might have been a different brown, but it looks the same. But it looked lighter than the rest of the car because this section was much darker. But I am sanding it. I just took off this whole section right here. I am doing 2000 because I don't want to burn it. I did kind of sort of burn it a smidge right there on the top because that's the edge, and I was digging it with my hand because this paint is single stage and it is pretty hard to get off. So I did just get a package from the mailman, and I took a look at this. This came from South Bay Fuel Injectors. Now let me show you guys what's inside, and I'm pretty excited about this one. Guys, this is my Id2000 injectors. These were flow tested, and they were able to get it to flow through and matched, like flow matched to each other. These are my Id2000s. I believe they're 2000s. These are my Id2000s that I had sitting in my drawer with E85 for 3 freaking months, and they clogged up. So I took it to my local guy, Ted Speck, and he did everything he could to try to clear these up. He was only able to clear out 2, and the other 2 was just stuck closed. So my buddy Brian from B&R Fitting hit me up, and he said, hey man, send these to South Bay Injectors out there in the East Coast, and they can take care of it. So I sent it out to South Bay Injectors. They received it, they cleaned it, they contacted me and said, hey, we were able to salvage your Id2000s, and they are ready to rock and roll. So I paid the fee, and they sent it back. Big shout out to South Bay Injectors for taking care of my IDs. To tell y'all the truth, I was pretty upset for leaving these in the bag and then clogging them up, but you know, I had faith that somebody out there could clean these and open them up. South Bay Injectors did the job. All right guys, new day here. So I ended last night late because one, I was hanging out with George, and two, I spent a good minute sanding off that brown spot that was on the door and the pillar. You can see I kind of did cut through the paint a little bit right there, but I did get all the darker brown off, and I polished the door about halfway just to kind of make sure that the paint was going to come back out, and you can see it looks really good. I did half the fender as well too. There was a bunch of orange mark that came from the junkyard, so I sanded all that off and I polished just the top half of the fender and not the bottom. Not too worried about it, but the paint actually does match. I thought it was like a lighter color last night because of the dark brown, but it's actually the same color, so that's good. The only thing is that there's this pinstripe, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I did scratch it up yesterday because I don't have the eraser tool. I went with a razor and kind of messed up the paint a little bit, but I mean, it's not a perfect paint job anyways. So got that all situated. Right now I'm gonna time Chad's car, and Chad's car, you guys probably seen it on the channel here before too. Like I said yesterday, this CRX was here how many months ago? Like 3 months ago maybe. Yeah, like 3 months ago, we did an overhaul on his single cam, which was the original engine in the car, 200 and I don't know how many miles on it, 275. And finally, 3 months later, his motor showed up from HMO, which is a B20. So he's been gathering a lot of parts in between to get ready for a B swap, and it's finally in the car. So him and Sean took care of the swap over the weekend. I had this car here, I couldn't have done it, and they knocked it out. They made everything super clean under the hood. Everything has been changed out as far as seals, pumps, you know, the whole nine you want to do to an engine before swapping it in. So they took care of all that yesterday. The car is here without an exhaust system. So right now I'm gonna time it, and then he's gonna go to the muffler shop to get his, what is Apex exhaust installed, and he's going to upgrade the piping as well too. He is going to keep the cat in the car because his car is probably going to go to the bar station to get it reffed, or not reffed, but barred to the car. And I'm going to do this real quick so he can be on his way, and we'll get back to doing the passenger side, spending a couple hours sanding off this dark brown. I read a comment, I don't know if it was recent, but somebody was saying like, oh, when are you going to do some D-series stuff on the channel for the broke guys or the budgeted guys? Everything on this channel has been budgeted. Like the K was budgeted, the B series that I do here was budgeted, all the turbo kits I do here is budgeted, but never really done anything on the single cam. If you guys have been on the channel, let's say 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe, we did a single cam turbo right hand drive CRX, and that car is still around. I've never really had other single cams here on the channel, and I'm doing this car budgeted as well. So like I said, everything on the channel has always been super budgeted. So when all the stuff come in, I'll talk about all the parts that I bought for it, and everything that we acquired for this car, and keeping it within the budget. I don't really have a budget for the car, but trying to keep it cheap as possible, and make it all effective, make it all work, make it all, you know, happen, and something that's going to be a blast to drive. I switched over to the DA, and it's starting to kind of sort of match. I think the fender might be a smidge lighter, but it's starting to blend. So I got to do the whole edge, this top right here, and the bottom right there. And there is overspray right here on the fender too, which is weird because it's already an original brown fender, but it's oversprayed. So I did a little bit of the hood. You can see I sanded it right here, 2000 grit, and it looks like glass. And I just wanted to see if this hood was salvageable, but it is so thin on the single stage that it kind of burned through. You can see like a different color right there. If I sand it too much, that's what it does, but I could get it like glass. It does take a lot of digging into because this is such it has like, I don't know, it's like textured. So it takes a while to sand it, and if you go too long, you can dig through the paint. I wanted to just keep it as a darker brown hood, But like I said, worst case scenario, I can paint this with the front bumper and possibly the rear bumper, if I can't save it, the same color or at least somewhat the same shade as the rest of the car. But that's for a later project because that's not our main focus right now. But the fender and the door is looking really good, matched, nice and shiny. I did burn a little bit right there and right there with the DA, got a little carried away with that. And nonetheless, it looks a ton better than what it did. So now I might move into the interior. Oh, hell yeah, brother. This was missing over there. So the thing about the RT four-wheel drive is that the fuel pump is right here under the back seat. The front wheel drive model does not have this access cover for the fuel pump. And I'm gonna check it. He said it might have a Walbro 255 in here because the car was obviously turbo before. Man, I was sad that the wheels was missing 2 caps and they were in the trunk the whole time, but they are broken on the back, so they're not going to clip on. Quick look of the interior before I vacuum this. I got all the big stuff out of here. It's just all the small crumbs. This is supposed to fold back, but I'm gonna vacuum and scrub this a little bit. I'm not gonna clean these yet. Not sure how I'm gonna go about it, but take these guys out. Man, that took some time, but we are done with the interior, or somewhat done with the interior. We got it all vacuumed out. We cleaned the dashboard, the door panels, and anything that's pleather plastic with some Meguiar's interior cleaner. And you can see the carpet is vacuumed up as much as I could with the home vacuum, which is that guy right there. But we got everything all wiped down from the dirt. I kind of did a little bit of the door jambs, all of the plastics. I didn't do the floor mats yet. This side is all nice and clean. Dashboard, steering wheel, all of this up here has been cleaned. And like I said, I wish I can clean the seats to make them nice and you know, more brownish instead of like the stain. But we'll take care of that another day. Back carpet has been cleaned out under the seat. I did all that as well too, nice and clean. And the back over here, I cleaned this cargo cover. You can get this from a Ford. There's a write-up on civicwagon.com on how to get one of these, or where to find one of these and how to install it. This is really nice. My brother saw it just now and he was like, kind of want it, but I told him you can get this in the junkyard, different colors, no big deal. Right here at the bottom, cleaned all of that, all the plastic as well. I did a little bit of the jam, did the tail lights a little bit as well too. Right here underneath, we got the spare tire put back in, everything in the spare tire, all the broken glass all vacuumed out. The spare tire is secured into place, so that's the back end. I did all the plastics up here as well too, because you know, why not? And this thing fell on my head because the shocks aren't that great. Over here, driver's side, all done as well. But this right here is bothering me because every time I vacuumed it and I touched this, it kept like, you know, throwing more foam down there. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zip tie this to keep the foam from coming out. This seat is already, it's donezo, but I am gonna put seat covers on it just to make it more appealing and reduce a lot of these guys from caking up the carpet here. So I think as far as today goes, not much I can do with the interior and the body as of right now. I think what I'm gonna do right now though is I'm gonna remove the four-wheel drive shifter box because we're not using that anymore, and I am gonna pull the fuel pump out to see what's inside of there, so I'll know if I have to order a new fuel pump or not. Well, damn, it's got an AM fuel pump in here. It's a 340. Hell yeah, brother. This thing is ready for some power. So yeah, there's no hole here for a shift linkage. So when we put the motor in the car and we hang the shift linkage to the transmission, we're gonna have to figure out where it lands here so we can cut it out so the shifter can come through, and then we got to make 2 new holes in the back here so we can bolt down the shift linkage stabilizer bar, since they're not here as well. But just got to pull the cable out, guys, and that's pretty much the last thing left of the all-wheel drive stuff that came from this car. Alright guys, so I think that is going to wrap up this video. We didn't make major progress on the car, but progress is better than no progress. We got the interior cleaned out. We got the engine bay sort of kind of prepped. We got a lot of the stuff removed that we're not going to need from there. I'm super pumped that this fender, you can see the gloss in there, this fender and this fender matched up with the original paint to the car. If you look at it from this angle, the hood doesn't seem that bad, but it is most definitely darker. Once I clean it, you can see it right there. It's good to know that we have an AM340 in the fuel tank, because I was going to order it last night, but I said, you know what, I got to check it first. This car was turboed, so you know what I mean, it has to have a fuel pump in it. Good thing we confirmed, and that is one thing we don't have to buy. I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is I just might go to the junkyard just to see if that RT 4-wheel drive wagon is still there. I'm gonna make a checklist tomorrow, and then, like I said, I might go to the junkyard and grab the things that I need, and maybe my focus is gonna be on the engine tomorrow, since it is here, the transmission is here, all the swap component is here. I did order a clutch I want to try out from eBay, and once that gets here, then we can plant that into the car. But in the meantime, I might try to just get that ready, and while we are still waiting for the clutch, I'm gonna paint a few things. I got a theme that I want to do with this car, so like I said, in between waiting for parts and stuff to show up, I can clean and prep all the other things that'll make this engine look nice in this car. So if you guys enjoyed this video a little bit, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around to see what kind of updates we got going on for this car, because it is going to be the main build as of right now, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.